What's up, folks? In the next month, I'm going to be taking you from gym noob to gym pro. I know you feel out of your depth and like all those nerds on Instagram are giving you conflicting info, functional training versus bodybuilding, keto diets, evidence-based versus bro, yada yada, and on and on and on. This week's topic of discussion is consistency, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what workout is best if you aren't training day in and day out, month after month, year after year. It doesn't matter what the science says about keto or any other diet if you don't stick to it for a serious period of time. So today's specific topic, motivation. I'm gonna say something a little crazy here. Forget about motivation. I find many newbies to the gym struggle with motivation, and thus they struggle to maintain a consistent gym schedule. And this is probably you if you're watching this video. You'll have one good month of workouts and then stop for a month. Train well for 2 weeks and then stop for a month. Work hard in the gym in preparation for spring break or a wedding and then stop after. This hyperfixation on motivation ends up being detrimental long term. Now, I've been training for 12 years consistently. I have rarely felt motivated to go to the gym. In fact, most of the time, I don't want to go at all. And this is the case with many of the avid gym goers you know either personally or online. Why is fixating on motivation so detrimental? Because you simply won't feel motivated often enough for it to be the sole driver of getting you to the gym. You need to go when you feel motivated and when you don't. So better to focus on a concept like discipline over motivation. And this isn't just an opinion I formed on my own. There is a mountain of research supporting this. Now, some view willpower as a limited resource, kind of like gasoline in a car. But then the natural next question becomes, where is the willpower reservoir in the human brain? Well, there isn't one. Neuroscientists have looked and found nothing of the sort. So then why do some have more willpower than others? And why does it seem like willpower decreases over time? I'm going to point you toward a great study on this topic called Implicit Theories About Willpower, Predicts Self-Regulation and Grades in Everyday Life. Now, this title says pretty much everything. An individual's believed notions about willpower and motivation manifest themselves in the person's actions, feelings, and behaviors. Laboratory research shows that when people believe that willpower is an abundant, rather than highly limited, resource, they exhibit better self-control after demanding tasks. However, some have questioned whether this non-limited theory leads to squandering of resources and worse outcomes in everyday life when demands on self-regulation are high. To examine this, a longitudinal study assessing students' theories about willpower and tracking their self-regulation and academic performance was done. As hypothesized, a non-limited theory predicted better self-regulation, better time management, and less procrastination, unhealthy eating, and impulsive spending for students who faced high self-regulatory demands. Moreover, among students taking a heavy course load, those with a non-limited theory earned higher grades, which was mediated by less procrastination. These findings contradict the idea that a limited theory helps people allocate their resources more effectively. Instead, it is people with the non-limited theory who self-regulate well in the face of high demands. Now, if you believe that you have unlimited amounts of willpower, then you will. If this sounds like the placebo effect, it is very similar, or if you've ever heard of the concept called self-fulfilling prophecy, it's similar to that as well. Another study named Implicit Theories About Willpower Predict Subjective Well-Being had a similar finding. This study may be even more applicable to what we're talking about. The researchers stated in the abstract, lay theories about willpower, the belief that willpower is a limited versus non-limited resource, affect self-control and goal striving in everyday life. 3 studies examine whether willpower theories also relate to people's subjective well-being by shaping the progress they make toward their personal goals. A cross-sectional and 2 longitudinal studies measured individuals' willpower theories and different indicators of subjective well-being. Additionally, study 3 measured goal striving and personal goal progress. A limited theory about willpower was associated with lower subjective well-being in a sample of working adults. Furthermore, a limited theory predicted lower levels of well-being at a time when students faced high self-regulatory demands. Study 3 replicated the finding that students with a limited theory experienced lower well-being in phases of high self-regulatory demands and found that personal goal progress mediated this relationship. Results suggest that the belief that willpower is based on a limited resource has negative implications not only for self-control but also for personal goal striving and subjective well-being. Your belief systems make a massive difference. If you believe you need to feel motivated and you don't feel motivated that day, then the workout won't happen. Again, instead, focus on working your discipline muscle. Now, next time we're going to talk about how to go about making yourself more disciplined and how to turn training into a habit. Make sure to tune back in. I'm Coach Ty with Muscle Wiki, and I will see you with the next one. Deuces.